very quickly. I can't wait to see if they decide to take a realm of Yang or if they play for Morris. And actually use that to mulch a box composition. But WBG and OUG immediately scrapping it on out. Baige unfortunately has a great sword, and that's not the greatest in a 1v1. As OUG's U will be able to come through with those dual halberds into the charge. LMB fully commits it too, to be able to get all of the damage as quickly as possible. U incredibly low, however, is going to go down to that third party, as it looks like one of these teams, OUG, must have been running something like full discount because they immediately bought a Moonbane and tried to drop it on top of WBG. And after that, they will be able to get the revive onto SS and then move over to stick U as well. At least they're trying to. JJH, or XEG rather, have showed up and are grieving poor old OUG, who find themselves back into bi-weekly finals where they had to contest 4 teams, dropping them on Salvation Podium, but they have been able to pick everyone up, and XEG can't make a move until that Morris Blessing's gone. Or rather, Moonbane.
Jinyu was able to buy that Moonbane in such a quick manner of speaking, but City of Tong, we're going to see some fights. Poppy goes down from BBE's Fat Milk. As you can see, Yin is trying to chase this down with 1 HP, and he gets parried, and as a result, we see a horizontal release coming out from CGS out of GG. That's a quick armor reset. 3-3-0 trying to get res out here from CGS, but we do see his, a chance for these guys to just looking to back off here. I'm not sure who bought the second Moonbane, considering how much action has been happening in the beginning for OUG to get that guaranteed first kills, but we're going to see A-Shot go up against OUG's Xingyu, and with that, Yu finds the elimination off a Sleepwalker. A dash coming out from SS, looking to try to connect with Yu here, eliminating A-Shot, who does have V2 ultimate ready to go. Looks for the grapple against SS as he is 1 hit away, 1 pistol shot away, but the V2 had to be used to mitigate. And as A-Shot is burning through here, trying to find a position to reconnect on SS's behalf and just trying to get the kill confirmation, Yu is just putting the pressure here. Nice hold check coming out. But with the V2 proc and 1,000 healing coming to A-Shot's presence, Yu now has to really play this into a 1v1 mindset. There it is. Catching him into the uppercut. A-Shot is looking to go ahead for the blue focus. F2 is already initiated here from Yu. He does have his chance. Waiting it out. That's going to be it. OUGU just coming back to get the team back up and running. And with the amount of gold, they can go fourth. Oh, you can see Baige. Baige wants to rush this, bro.
The Zip called that the Yoda doesn't have the F2 and was low and is in a 1v1 situation. And if the fight goes long, Baige is going to be able to come in with that ultimate. Yu, however, does have that Yoto, will be able to come on through with the V3, confirm the kill onto the Takeda, but the Takeda falls and
Bring it on.
Sleepwalker. WBG are like, okay, do you know what? You've defeated our Takeda, you've defeated our V-Ping, now you have to defeat the final boss. As it's going to be Sleepwalker versus Yu. Yu already being able to force the F combo breaker out from that tumult. Here we go. The Zip revives to be able to try and stick the kill onto this Yodo as well. Nice confirmation of the Dragon Slayers into Nezhaz to pressure Yu into throwing out that F2 early. He's going to be able to get a couple of light attack hits. Sits in the golden focus and goes into parry to see whether or not WBG tried to clank it. Gets the jump parry onto WBG Sleepwalker. Baige's revived. Comes back in with the ultimate. But OUG's Yu has called reinforcements. Gonda calls for aid. And SS and Jinyu pick up the call. Yu now trying to chase down onto WBG, who realize that they have made a horrible mistake. They've burned all of their revives on the salty run back serve, and they're going to go out of the lobby because of it.
Light the beacons, y'all. Yu is the true king. He calls upon your name. I am the one who survived. You know, the crazy part is that they came by individually. They didn't come into a group effort. They're like, listen, I'll do one part of this project, and then I'll hand it off to you the next part, and then you is just, 404 doesn't, error does not compute. It was
the baton relay chase.
The crazy part is that OUG now comes up on top with 6 eliminations and just beating it out there. Yu just really just showcasing what he's got. And then going through, though, we got to keep the fights going because Alliance is looking up against JJH, and Moran is at a low enough point here. Gets a parry. Nicely done. Avoids the parry as Bo goes ahead and gets a backline vertical blue focus. And enough said. He's got no ultimate, but he's got the pleasure of just having enough HP not to worry, because with JJH going down here for the first set of lives, this is going to be a chance to see an Alliance pick up those early game eliminations. And then we're going to Camel Hump, and as OUG makes their way towards this, they're chasing that A-Shot as he getting himself almost caught into those ice flower or ice butterflies that could just freeze him in his tracks. But over to the frigid ice pools, Wolves looking to try to lock down J-Team. They find Ice. Ice goes down, and as EG is looking to see these low held targets from BBE, as Zill does get himself at a low enough point, the Wu Chen port gets BBE out there, but EG is already hunting. He knows exactly where the lineup was. Once he grappled that Wu Chen, he was able to lock into that position of where the port was going to head towards. And Ben has purple pole sword, Fat Milk has a blue fan. Both of them are low. And, you know, once this comes out, the Wolves, they're hungry. They smell it. They know where their targets are going to be. And Fat Milk, he's going to get gnawed on really quick here. If once these grapple sackers work into the favor of Wolves, they'll be able to get elimination and then catch their third one into the bar. But Fat Milk finds that armor. Yeah, he's got 750 HP. Now they're going to have to worry about that. At this point, 8 grapples in a dream.
Is this where the dream becomes a nightmare for WBG? Yes it is. OUG are able to knock WBG out of this lobby entirely because that team just fully gave into their emotions and went for the salty run back individually onto OUG. And as you said, this has allowed OUG 7 kills. Unfortunately for them, it hasn't really allowed them to absorb all of the loot because WBG, by going for the salty run back, sacrificed everything that they were previously carrying. So OUG are going to have to now try and play into all of the loot around them inside ruins and then scale up for that Realm of Yang to be ready. XTG, one of the teams who was also in the area that we saw thinking about third partying when they saw the Bane's Ref had been dropped early on. Now in Matab thinking about taking a fight onto Bauda. There's a team running around with legendary weapons, so GD have been stopping at Salvation Podium to be able to pick that one up. As we can head back and see Wolves now dealing with J-Team. This is a rematch, I believe, because when we saw Wolves chasing all of those other members previously, J-Team's bodies were actually in the area. And yeah, there it is. That was J-Team's last lives as well. And this is now Wolves getting an insurance policy. They have 3 soul blooms to be able to pick between if they do put themselves inside a Realm of Yang with that Tianhai and they lose it, as GG with the legendary Hong Sword are gonna go hunting, trying to find some of these players in the area, checking to see whether or not there's a Trios team looking to hide before that Realm of Yang comes through. This is a composition that does not do well traditionally inside the Realm of Yang. They are much happier to just scout the area and see whether or not they can grief a team trying to go on through that portal and nab themselves a couple of cheeky kills that way.
Yeah, Morris Blessing being nearby would be the icing on the cake for them with that comp as well. So we're gonna take a look over the map. As we can see, Mystic Might all the way out west of Igneous Mound, and you can see XGG is making their way towards the northern end of that region into the ravine, but also alongside with GG. And now think about how the Viper F3, we were mentioning how much that rushdown build comes into the works. Having a gold weapon, that's going to be like 600 damage off of the bars of armor, and that can really just put a testament towards zipping or sandbox comps where they don't have a cleanse. That's why we see Kurumi's more often, because when the ultimate comes out, she can cleanse any of the heals. But if someone has the weaken heal for 8 seconds, it can make or break their salvation coming out from the V2's passive, the Sedate Soul. And that's just where you can really see the see how it works best. But with this Realm Yang starting in here, Wolves are not gonna be kidding around. With 6 eliminations and enough loot to kind of work into this matchup, they're gonna be the first ones entering.
It would be really funny if they go up against the other Transformers team.
That'll be amazing. I was like, yo.
That would be absolutely amazing. We'll see whether or not they are going to take a challenge, or whether or not some of these other teams are going to prioritize going for the Morris Blessings. It is risky either way, right? Realm of Yangs, a lot of those Viper teams patrol both the Morris Blessings and the Realm of Yang entrances so that they can look for third parties. This is a composition that likes to skirmish and play off of teams already fighting other teams. So you can come in third party. The fact that Tessa's ultimate is dodgeable means that you want to play off when players are already focused on another fight, sort of like that. As GG are able to come in with a huge Tessa V1 into the follow-up of that Viper and immediately catch out a lot of these players over that Morris Blessing. Oh, no way. Do we actually get it? Wolves and Alliance going head to head there. Yeah, it is. They're running the Takeda. Wolves Egg has not yet transformed. There's the tumult coming on through. Nice little parry comes out. Egg immediately going to be dropping in with that F1. Now going for the transformation sequence. Is he going to be able to find a grab? They're up against Sand Siphon, which means that they can't go for transformation and immediately cancel out the potential threat of a double grab. He's looking for one. He's trying to find anything that he can, but without that Kurumi, he's going incredibly low. He gets one grab, immediately has to go for the slam, however, because they're absolutely frying his legs. Zem now having to just drop into the mech, but he's already lost one of his players. Alliance also down the Z-Ping, but they still have 2 purple armor sets, as well as that Takeda still alive. And as we talked about it is incredibly worrying when you see a Transformers team without a Kurumi, especially up against Sansiphon. You can find a grab, you can even find a double grab, but that Zip V2 is going to proc and it's going to save absolutely everyone before they even hit the floor.
Exactly. The crazy part about it is that they were the first ones able to out here for the tumult, but we're going to switch this over into this fight right before breaking point. A port out coming out from 5-2-1. They were going up against JJH there and got swiftly out there as soon as possible. Things were not turning out so hot for them, especially with the amount of ults that they had consumed towards the enemy, especially with the tumult ult coming into play there and not being able to have the energy that they would hopefully have when they're going to the combatant zone. Now, Wolves into Romy Yang depletion. We got 3 minutes and 40 seconds left before they can try to find themselves some soloms. Since they had some early game eliminations here, they had kept some early on against J teams, so they could just go ahead and get to the soul altar and find those, unless another team had griefed and picked them up. In that case, they're gonna have to go hunting again. Now, Alliance picking up a gold staff from their win into the Romy Yang, and hopefully finding a jabbing soon, because jabbing a Jade to be talked about is a Jade that is detrimental to any team that they go up against, because once you see the how strong Takeda can just get a quick shot of 800 900 damage with this gold staff and not being able to anticipate how much range it really has, cultivates where the players are thinking they're going to be having this down and it's not going to be fast enough. But I see a Yushan Ruins fight in the zone. KLA rushing in here against GG, and who doesn't get to the portal might just eat up zone damage, as KLA I think are the ones who are the hunters, as they can't go through the portal just yet, as GG are going to go ahead and have reset. V3 is ready for LXM, but I'm not sure where CJS is in terms of rage. We do have 330 just holding himself onto this corner with that pole sword, but CJS is going to be that bait. I believe this is what they're going to be planning out here, as an ambush could take place as LXM is on the high ground. Depends on what KLA wants to do here. They're going to get out of the portal. We're going to see this chance right now where CJS, he's at 50% right now. Both shots from LXM here from the high ground. Looking to try to drop in here as fast as he can. Looks for the RB. Nice chance for him to get QGG out of here right then and there. And with everything coming up from this enchant, there's a kill. QGG is down. LXM hunts down Cuckoo. Cuckoo is getting that lethal jab, but the Justina ultimate's going to come out here for one dash. Number 2, it's going to connect off LXM. He gets frozen, and there's going to be a chance for them to look for Cuckoo too, but since Justina can go for a portal, it's their guess as any as to where she had gone through and dissipated from the fight as a whole, and she's going to be the only teammate left from KLA with the one elimination to just trying to find their way back into this match, considering that out of all of it, GG found their way.
Oh, has to be careful that you don't run either into OUG or Bowder, though, who are out and hunting Bowder with Yang depletion. Have to just all in this fight right now. Duran's coming in with that V3, trying to lock down these kills onto OUG's Yu, who's going to retaliate with a Yoda ultimate as well. That Yoda going incredibly low. Oh, Duran gets frozen, though, and immediately cooked. There's the Ferry of V3, just dropped in time to be able to save that Yoto. And as a result, Duran will be able to live and can now try to apply pressure onto OUG. So, rather, Bowder's members. Has to make sure that they don't stick too close on the low ground, though, as we do see the Yuashan coming on through. SS going to be dropping potentially to try and find a reset, as he's going to lose his life, but not crucially his loot. They did have Vermilion Bird's Might, so Bowder will be able to find the Soul Blooms and keep themselves in the lobby because they don't have to worry about Yang depletion, something that unfortunately Wolves are incredibly familiar with. It does look, Serve, like someone rolled through the zone where J-Team's bodies were dropped, and Wolves have only been able to pick themselves up the one Soul Bloom. As a result, they have to drop all of their money to that Tumult and have Egg and Gem go out to Zone Corruption Tick so that they can be brought back by Rebirth Charms. Hopefully, he doesn't get absolutely jumped, as they haven't dropped their loot. And this means that the Tumult is still going to be on blue instead of purple armor. Alliance now rolling on through, going to hit the bell, get a little bit of information on the teams in the area, as well as pick themselves up a bounty to be able to put pressure onto Bowder, who are going to be in a state of trying to play as quietly as possible, considering they had to all in on the engagement against OUG. So it's not good news for them because that bounty score is immediately going to give away where they were trying to hide themselves from the rest of the team with. As Wolves picking up their 2 rebirth charms and trying to buy their 2 players back in. As Alliance start to gravitate towards, is it going to be a team kill or is it going to be more of an objective play? It does look like they want to try and take control of this Morris Blessing, as GG have the exact same idea. Morris Blessings do become important, especially when we head towards the final zone, because they can contain things like Flamers. And Flamers, if you look at macro, well, they change the game entirely, quite literally. Having that weapon, being able to put pressure on all the teams around you, as well as burn through a lot of that healing effectiveness, just makes them such a good weapon to try and control. And as a result, we see the teams ignore the second realm of Yang and decide to stick on Box instead. Huge Tetsu V1 comes on through, followed up by that Viper V3. As a result, everyone from Alliance is silenced. The Zip ultimate kicks in, but unfortunately it is not enough. Sedated Soul will proc, but Bo is still going to go down. The Morris Blessing has drawn the attention of 3 teams, and every single one of them is trying to play off of the engagements and ultimates that other teams have already committed so that they can have the last laugh. Bowder coming on through, used the bounty to reverse track the location, and as a result knew the fight was going on top of that Morris Blessing, in with the V3 and that Yoto ultimate. Will they be able to keep control of this high ground? Have they been able to see, however, that Alliance nat 20 on the stealth check from lane? Oh, maybe not. Spoke too soon. Nat 20 rolls away off the table and hits 1, as they do spot, unfortunately, that the Tumult has tried to stick that revive. Lane will go through the portal and try to keep himself alive. Will be able to get his way onto Frozen Lake using the Hang Sword and the Shadow Step to try and play around the spacing of Bowder, but the Yodo F2, ooh, that's so close. It's going to be hot on his heels. Tumult F going to be utilized, one of the best combo breakers in game. Lane, unfortunately, now has to take all of the damage as Bowder just all in on top of him, and there is absolutely no way that he'll be able to survive that pressure. Good news for Alliance, however, is that he's taken all of the heat and attention off of his Zip. Revenge is able to disengage the fight, just has to make sure that instead of running into Bowder, he doesn't directly run into GG instead. Oh no. GG have spotted the Zip. And it's the exact same situation. Revenge is trying to keep himself alive as much as he possibly can, but GG push him into the zone. The Zip ultimate comes on through. Sedated Soul proccing, immediately knocking all of the players from GG back, as Revenge sits in that blue focus for as long as he possibly can so he doesn't get stagger locked. But in typical GG fashion, Furufrio finds the kill with the musket, and that is Alliance wiped off the board.
You know, Revenge was like Etsu Brute to 3-3-0. He's like, ha, got him. No scope headshot. Everything came through until Revenge just found GG because they were just hiding out in the tree line. They just see a lone Zip and like, oh, perfect. Free elimination. You take those in. This comes down towards it. Now, we're going to take a look at the replay towards the first Romy Yang, as OUG were the ones who actually won their Romy Yang against Team Bowder. You can see Justina preemptive ult here. Already used 1 dash. Is looking for a lineup, but he gets knocked back with the stagger coming out. Finds her dash through Yoran. Obviously, since the Yodo Hime ult is active, she couldn't get the freeze, but an SS is locked down by the Weishan. He looked for it, gets it. R&B doesn't get it because you're going to see the Bowder's Jing to go for those cannon shots, but you says, I got you, homie. And if everything comes out for SS to perfectly dodge the Weishan, this gives a granted opportunity for Jing Yu to try to look for those staggers. He's doing it right now, pushing Peak away. The Weishan from Team Bowder can't do anything about it. Jing is now outside of the Fairy Shenmek, finds the F3 shot, looks to try to line it up and hits off you, but this is where SS now can fully focus on to Peak. As that parry came through as a longsword, SS had that frame advantage of just having the F2 available to go forth, and that gives his teammate protection. Peak goes down, and with the final kill off of there, there's our victory round for OUG. And now the Honk sword that was in hand as a reward most likely just gives SS the reward, and oh my goodness, this man has all the gold J's in the game.
I mean, the question is, does he have Aurora Burst? We haven't seen it.
I can find out.
We will find it out relatively quickly, especially when it gets to the range phase, and you just use that Soul Jade to sit in that hitbox for as much as you possibly can so that it can just nullify all of the range poke pressure coming on through, which is exactly what a composition like this wants. Since you don't have an allocated healer, you're playing off of someone having advanced heal and group heal to play as support for everybody on the team. I think we're going to be seeing a lot of these Justina compositions start to really come through. It's really strong, not just in terms of the attack on Titan counter, because you can use that Justina V1 to dash and chase after the Wu-Chan once the teleport's removed, but it's also immensely strong into if we see the WBG transformer composition come through, or other cannonball compositions as well, because a couple of patches ago, Justina got a rather nasty little buff, which means that she gets 3 seconds of freeze on transformed units, as opposed to the 1.6 on non-transformed units. So especially if you get a multi-freeze, like if you catch that V1 and you utilize the Farrier mech hitbox to obscure the dash, a lot of the time you can actually catch 2 players in the same freeze off of that. It's something that Raven always likes to look for when he sees the Justina going up against the cannonball composition. And it's something that a lot of these teams are going to be looking to try and frame on up so that they can, in Realm of Yang, take advantage of it.
The one thing that the Justina's ultimates that allow for a 3-second freeze is V2, V3. But the crazy part about V1 is the fact that that 4-second freeze timer now, that's where it like really goes to show like, oh yeah, we're freezing big time. Because once you start going for those freezes, you have a big block of a target, you find another person, that's an easy double and coming off that end. And 1.6 seconds, it may not seem a lot, guys, but a simple RMB from a spear is all you need to delete a good chunk of the health, especially
RMB on halberds. Because, like, they might get out of the freeze, but they're not getting out of the range of the RMB. That thing is so good at chasing targets down, as no way did GG get another Morris Blessing for free. Well, I say for free, they did have to scrap over the last one. But, nope, legendary armor comes on through. They do risk it. They have to now Bane Surf. As they didn't have to use any ultimates, crucially. And, oh, GG LXM! Oh boy. Well, Moonbane giveth, Moonbane taketh away. It's very fitting that it's the Viper that gets hit by that one. She does always like to say, Moonbane favors me. It does apparently not favor LXM in this instance. It does, however, favor LXM in the fact that there wasn't any follow-up and it wasn't a double stack of Bane's Breath, so the Viper will be able to survive the encounter. And GG off of that. I believe they have Tuner as well. I think I just saw the rest emote coming through from CJS to activate that one, as it wasn't a flamer inside one of these Morris Blessings. It was, unfortunately, the Blood Rippers. Not the greatest when it comes to Final Zone, but hey, having the movement and the purple focus is very good for these teams that are lacking the rotation prowess, and that is definitely something that Transformers does struggle when it comes to inside and outside of the ultimates.
Yeah, and the thing is, CJS also has Heartstopper Kick, and as a Tessa, oh man, that's where things are going to get really dangerous for our teams. If they're going to get caught by the Viper into the extension of the stagger for a free silence on top of it, it just gives Dragon Like Might huge value towards 3-3-0. But it's all up to seeing how GG wants to synergize with those Jades and making sure they can keep their momentum on that board. Because right now, with everything in mind into the final 7 minutes, we still have another Moonbane to be casted onto the ground from the game itself. So it's up to these players what happens when. They've been having some sort of treaty when it comes towards Moonbanes and solos where they're like, we're not going to fight near a new Moonbane.
I think Trios have the same idea. Everyone just like sees that the Moonbane's gonna come around about the center, so everyone just picks a spot on the edges, like literal outskirts. You could be kissing the corruption damage where you can see all of these players position, at least before they see that Moonbane. And then if someone does overstep and goes into the center and has to surf through it to be able to rotate out, then it becomes open season in terms of things like slow shot on the musket, target lock on the bow, and you just try and keep up the pressure. KLA trying to put themselves into a position where they're going to be able to control this next Morris Blessing so they can get that immediate armor upgrade as Wolves start showing off the fact that they have the Blood Ripper coming on through. So you don't want to try and challenge this monk, as KLA, like, they know that they're going to be the target of choice when they try and open up this Morris Blessing, especially because that Moonbane is going to be incredibly close to it. Godly's going to throw out the Merciless Havoc on repeat to be able to use the blue focus armor to try and mitigate as much damage in poke phase as possible. And unfortunately for KLA, their plan to take control of that Morris Blessing, hiding their players inside the purple bush and then jumping out once they're ready to all in on the box and complete the loader, has been snuffed out by the fact that Moonbane decided to sneeze and stick the AoE right on top of it.
Excuse me. Sorry about that. You know, this Moonbane's having a little bit of sniffles over here in the snowy forest, but you know, he has his tissues nearby. In the meantime, BB's Roishishi is going to hand those tissues out towards Bauda if he's very careful about it, because he's going to give them a reason to want to push into there. And Poppy getting cannon off in the back line. Yin is trying to reset himself as it comes through, but then there's a V3. There's a Test ultimate guarantee. Poppy's looking to try to chase down this Fat Milk, and Fat Milk, of course, he's going to get caught to the enchant. There's going to be a quick elimination for Yin to come through on this end, but taking a horizontal to the face. Bambi will look to try to backline here with the F3 coming out from the Wuchen to get the team out as 5-2-1 look to reset. Oh my goodness, not like this, not like this. Oh, not like this. 5-2-1 gets fully sent into the Shadow Realm. Yin living with literally not even a cell or an organism onto his body to try to reset
no
into
one saw him.
section.
No one's following up the range. No one saw him hop into the bush.
They're just that good?
Oh, I was gonna say it's about to be 0 days since we saw a team Wuchen TP directly into a full team wipe. But no, they will keep one player alive at least until Wolves spot them out. OUG's SS coming on in with those dashes and immediately repositioning to the rest of their team. Takes a little bit of poke onto some of these players, tries to find an easy kill for OUG, and then decides to disengage nice and cleanly because they are aware that this fight is about to get incredibly scrappy. The Viper V3 comes on through the damage reduction as well as the potential to turn around onto SS, and as a result he does lose a huge chunk of his armor. But you can already see the reposition coming on out. Hangsword movement just so clean. In these instances, being able to hug the cliff and just play off of those shadow steps. As LXM, unfortunately, without that ultimate, does not have the 40% damage reduction to keep himself safe from the attention coming through from JJH. Wolves now starting to make their move. Egg, not able to have that ultimate, is going to hop into the Farrier mech and start to put pressure down. They do lose Gem, but the Tumultuous ultimate coming on through from ZK should be able to clear the way and get the Farrier back on up, as well as allow reset to come on through before that Smolch ultimate dries out. Good cannon connections as well from Egg onto OUG, who were getting ready to push onto Wolves and deny the high ground advantage to the Transformers team the second that the Smolch ultimate had been removed from the field. KLA CXZ looking entirely at JJH, and as a result Wolves might be able to get a recuperation period. JJH gooped down to focus coming on through from Bauda as Yuan entirely uncontested right now. Everyone is so busy looking at the other mechs and trying to play around this high ground on the opposite angle that Bauda are getting an absolute shooting gallery for free. Yuan has not even had to try and boost out of position to be able to find the reset, as he just continues to find interruptions onto Egg so that the Monk isn't able to look for these grabs and is forced back closer towards the edge of that zone. Wolves on 11 kills, OUG also on 11, but lacking that Yoto. Justina and Duation still in play, as Egg's going to be able to get another Farrier V3 called on through. Sees that they're going to get challenged as Godly now is on the Monk, and Egg is going to immediately reposition to make sure he doesn't get that mech cancelled by the Transformer as the double grab comes out from Godly. Doesn't manage to find a reverb onto some of these players on Wolves on the low ground. Are they going to be able to cover for him safely once this transformation drops on out, though? The Tumultuous ultimate is not available. Moran will be able to have a pillar dropped. Will Godly be able to get to it in time? No one actually pressures him, so he's able to hop into the mech once he's been able to cleanse all of that armor right back on up to full, as bad as Yuan comes on through, trying to put the pressure out, buy as much space as possible before hopping into a V3 of their own. And every single one of these cannonball compositions serve is literally just cycling the Farrier V3 on cooldown.
Yeah. No, the fact of the matter that JJH Godly now into the mech form just gives full consideration, and you can see how Wolves was actually very clean into this synergy of just trying to make sure that EG was able to get to the mech sooner than anything once his D-Vod reforming. But of course, while Godly is on top of this hilltop, we do see EG are trying to go for supplies here. Tumultuous ult coming in through place, and as Yoran is getting propelled back and forth, Godly with his stanchion Sky Pillar just making work out of it and just keeping his team prepared for anything into the worst case scenario if there's going to be anyone that's pushing. Nice parry from Godly though as he catches peak off into the opposite ends of the zone, but gets parried as a result. And as Flames was almost going to get caught into it, Godly did not take any blunt force out of that. And the cannon shots can come out for 3 shots against Peak. Bowda goes down. JJH's Flames finds that elimination. Of course, Wolf ZK finds Yaron out of Team Bowda as the final remainder. But of course, EG has himself against the mech, keep himself nice and tidy. But we see Godly trying to close into EG. He gets the burst for the first jump, and there's going to be looking to try to lock him through. The jetpacks on the Vajra just works, baby. And Godly looking to try to keep himself sustained. Gets cannon shot for the first and second shot, while Flames looks to knock back EG. And out of mech form, he will go through since Flames is putting this pressure on. EG is now outside of the mech form, and he's trying to dissipate from this location. Zedgate gets caught into the grab. Terrain advantage is going to give him enough time to be getting himself into the sky with the F1, but Godly has himself full armor, finds a Sobel, and goes right back into this. Moran is down. Flames is looking to try to go right back up to the point where he can contest, while Zem is getting pushed out here by Godly. ZK gets caught to the horizontal. He's down, and Godly looks to try to get another Sobel. It's going to be picked up here, and as the RMBs are getting charged up here, F3 shot is confirmed for 3-second silence, but Godly doesn't care about it. Gets parried as a result. You're going to see Zem try to go up against Flames here, and those OUG keeps his ground, keeps it cool. He's got transformation to keep him sustained, and Zem doesn't get the elimination, but OUG Jingyu finds 2 eliminations to the final ends, and of course, coming out as MVP with OU with that kill.